Hello everyone, I'm Zethrix.
And I'm Savazar. And we played Dinkum for 100 days, and here's what happened.
And on day 18 we had a new visitor.
I don't know what happened, but I woke up floating in the air, but all that matters is that our house is now upgraded, so now there's more room for decorations.
I checked the bulletin board and we got another Alpha Bush Devil quest. I was a little disappointed. I expected a lot more options and some better quality. And on day 18 it was finally time to harvest all my wheat. I was very excited for this. And I may have made the mistake of selling all my wheat for just a small price of 30,000. And it was finally time to apply for a new deed, which was the mine deed, which I wasn't even sure what it was going to do yet, but I didn't hesitate to get it. But however, getting the mine meant we were going to be in debt 250,000 dinks. But that didn't stop me, because I had a sugar mama like Savazar to help me pay off that debt. And I put the mine right behind John's place. I spent the day getting all the materials I needed to finish the mine.
And I was off to go get materials too because I wanted to help.
While I was waiting for Savazar, I made sure to finish watering all our crops. And then I placed all the materials that I had into the bin. And then now, thanks to Savazar, we were going to have everything we needed to finish the mine.
I came back with the last few missing pieces so we can finish that mine.
And then after that, I set out to see if I could find anything new for Theodore. And at this point, I wanted to look at the collection log to see what I had caught. And I think we had quite the collection going at this point. But you can still see some items that I hadn't brought to Theodore yet. That wasn't going to last too long. And so at this point, Savazar and I were ready to take on the Bush Devil for the third time. At this point, we were pretty comfortable, and I don't think he stood a chance.
Prior to this, I kept dying, so all my weapons were broken. So I brought out my big hammer and showed Zethrix how it's done.
And of course, after every boss fight, I did my usual collecting of the flowers. I hadn't visited Fletch in a while, so I made sure to go see if she needed anything. And she actually wanted a butterfly that I had, so that was convenient. And she gave me one of the best rewards I had gotten so far. At this point, I felt like I was one with the animals with my new hat. I don't think Savazar approved very much of this one. And I actually did find quite a few new bugs for Theodore at this point. And as you can see, we brought him 14 bugs so far and 6 fish. I had a chat with John and finished my quest for killing the Bush Devil. This was our main flow of money, honestly, at this point. And I also had a butterfly that John wanted, so I gave it to him. And John knew I was a businessman, so he gave me a pair of business pants. And of course, like every other day for the past week, I did digging. I dug and I dug and I dug. And then I dug and I dug and I dug even more. But hopefully you can see the progress. Things are starting to even out a little bit. We were starting to fill in all the little holes. Everything was finally becoming level. But this was just the start of our town. And I think Savazar and I were starting to make a pretty good team. We were getting stuff done. And that wraps up day 18. I did a little bit of everything today, so I didn't get too many levels, and my levels were getting pretty high, so it was taking a lot longer to level them up. However, I did manage to get a ton of farming from harvesting all my wheat finally, which I still regret selling all my wheat to John. I could have done a lot more useful things with it. On day 19, we didn't have any visitors, but I couldn't be more than happy because it was raining, and that meant I didn't have to water any of my crops. So I went to go visit Fletch, and this is where I started the painful process of moving all the buildings. I wanted to move all the buildings so then I could level out the dirt and make everything even. So I started off by moving the bandstand. At this point, I definitely wanted to start establishing a setup for our town. Everything had kind of been in a random location up until now, but it was time to really start giving everything its new home. And of course, I had to do the usual cleaning up of Savazar stuff. And now I made it a point to clean out this area for the bandstand. I was going to make it look good. And at this point, I was a digging professional, so it took no time at all to get everything set up. And I actually thought this was going to be a really good location for a bandstand. And I was headstrong on getting everything leveled out in the next few days. I made my way over to Fletch to get my level 2 farming license. Now I learned how to make the copper watering can, the compost bin, and a copper hoe, and lastly a copper scythe. I finished a quest for Fletch as well, where she gave me a dress. And I didn't really think I would look good in dresses, so I gave it to Savazar.
I haven't seen Clover in a while, so Zethrix really surprised me with this dress. It's a cute little overall dress, and I absolutely loved it.
And so now that we built the mine, it was time to buy a mining pass. But before that, I want you to take a look at this mountain and recall back to the beginning. I had almost taken out the entire mountain. We were literally moving mountains. And we got a quest for a new boss. Look at this fella. At this point, I didn't know what was going to happen. He started slamming the ground and causing earthquakes. I thought we were goners for sure. But we used Savazar as bait and we were finally able to finish him off.
I had to take off my overalls and put on my raincoat because it was raining.
And of course, as always, you finish a boss fight by collecting flowers and fruits and killing poor innocent dogs. And you'll notice Savazar doesn't hit a single one, and she definitely disapproves of any innocent dogs killing that was happening. And we made it back to town, and I made sure to keep up with my brewing and cooking. And of course, digging. And more digging. And with Savazar's little raincoat on, she didn't mind helping me out in the rain. And I also noticed this little stone egg thing that was full of electricity. I wasn't exactly sure what it did, so I just started hitting it with my pickaxe. And that wasn't really doing enough damage, so I started attacking it with my spear. And I got a ton of opals. And then I looked to my left, and there was another one. And I know they sell for a lot, so I made sure to break them and collect every opal I could. Because at this point, I was doing more digging than anything, so I wasn't really bringing in a whole lot of money. And that wraps up day 19. I definitely got a lot of hunting levels from killing the killer croc, but not too many mining levels or forging levels, and Rain decided to visit again. I went over to buy more onion seeds because I knew I would have enough time before this season was over to harvest them, and I had lots of money, so I managed to buy lots of onions. I went over to pay off the last of our debt, as Savazar had made the big chunk of payment for the $250,000 mine deed, and I started moving another building so that way I could fill in and level the dirt out there too. And moving buildings only cost about 25,000 dinks. It wasn't hurting the bank too much, but it was making a dent for sure. And I was deciding where I wanted to build our home, so I had to move the base tent out of the way first. I went to John to sell all the opals I had gotten from the night before, and thankfully I was able to sell them for 120,000 dinks. And now that I had all my new seeds, it was time to get them planted right away. And I went back to making sure I kept up with all my brewing, and my tree orchard was finally ready for its first harvest. And today was going to be the first day that we went deep into the mines. I didn't know what to expect. And when we first got down, I immediately noticed that we forgot our keys for any locked doors that we were to come across. I destroyed this old car and got lots of metal goodies. We were finding tons of iron ore, so I was making sure to mine all of it. And I made sure to drink my new water brews so that way my mining was boosted a little bit. And we were out of energy and almost out of inventory room, so we made our way back up. I bought more furnaces for all the iron that I had mined and needed to smelt, and I bought an extra stone grinder. But we didn't want to call it a day with mining there, so we decided to head back down. And would you believe me if I told you that we literally forgot our keys again? On the right side, I found our first ruby, and I had to carry it all the way back to the elevator. And I didn't even notice it, but this little glowing alligator almost got me. And for some reason, I decided I was tired of carrying the ruby and I decided to mine it, which I learned would be a big mistake. But we kept on going and I kept on mining, and then it started to get late, so we made our way back immediately, because we did not want to get stuck in the mines. I spent the rest of the night smelting all my ores, and finally I was able to make my first copper watering can. And then before almost passing out, I jumped my butt right in bed. And as you can see, there wasn't much hunting or bug catching. However, there was a ton of mining. We got over 95 iron ore, 92 copper ore, and 33 tin. I knew at this point that I was going to be making it a routine to go down in the mines. And we also made over 120,000 dinks from our opals. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let us know what you think down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.